Hello, this is Katie Oshiwanita with Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Seminar and Sessions. And we are focused today on the Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Foundation series, Mastery of Keylonta, episode 10, the Victim-Victimizer game, page 30 through 38. Lewis is not feeling well today, so I'm on my own. So we'll see how that goes. And I've been doing it. For some reason, and I don't know why, I'm utilizing Zoom, and they have, when you share screen, it has a thing that puts on the top. And it usually after it starts up, normally it goes down, but it's not. Show participants and content. Anyway, so I can't read the top, just letting you know. You can read it, but I can't. Okay, so and then it was really weird. I couldn't go backwards. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, okay. That was just something else going on. All right. So welcome, everyone who decided to take the plunge into understanding who you are as spiritual beings, living out the mechanics of manifestation of Keylonta. The primary resource used was the Postures of Love and Steps Towards Joy manual by Rose Tobin of the Cathara team by Azurite Press. This is an excellent summary of applying the freedom teachings in your daily life. We are in no way affiliated with Azurite Press or Erase Productions or Bright Flower Studios. The link to download the PDF is on the harmonizingjourney.com website on the HDR Foundation series page. Just go down and find it, and you'll see the links for the introduction to Keylonta and the Harmonizing Journey with Katie Oshiwanita playlist. And I also wanted to say, what did I want to say? I had another thought, but I wanted to finish that thought. Lost that other thought. Please put your questions and comments in the chat, and I will either comment in the chat later on or respond during the next show. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Okay. I'm going to say that the Victim-Victimizer game, it is a game of distortion that is encoded in our DNA right now, but it's not natural. This is not a natural game. And page 32. As we have been supposing that we are the all oneness of God's source, then in that case, there cannot be an aggressor, right? You're it, capital I, capital T. So it's aspects of self, good, bad, and ugly coming up. Because if you do feel like you've got an aggressor, it's something encoded, programmed in the DNA at the elemental level. The fight or flight lizard brain, Draco brain, the base of the neck, the rootstock. And we tend to respond many times to that encoded fight or flight mechanism. And you're seeing it a lot in the public domain with different social groups, really feeling like there's something out there, somebody out there, this, that, and the other. It's all somebody else, not me. I'm sweet innocent. It's all those other people out there. Right? I'm not going to get too detailed about that, but I think most people know what I'm talking about. Kind of worrying about what this looks like instead of just seeing the person for who they are. But anyway, this game makes us see reality separate from our bodies and the, I should say the world. So, yeah. There's me over there, and the rest of the world never shall the two meet. When it's all freaking your template, right? Your holographic reality you project. Interfacing with others of Aya, God's first eternal, but how you perceive everything is based on what's going on within your template. This program allows us to play, so the VV game program allows us, it's encoded in the DNA, particularly coming out and expressed through that brainstem. A fight or flight allows us to play the blame and shame game and not take responsibility for our creative powers. Again, I'm over here. That's all these things out there doing stuff to me. Right? And believe me, I have had many of my moments. You know, it's a reactive initial till we get in on it and clear it, but it's initial reaction, that fight or flight. This program runs deep in our DNA to keep the second creation mechanics construct going. Again, that's talked about in the HI Grid Keeper's Handbook, page 41. So yeah, I even had a client that I was working with recently. We had a really great big breakthrough, but he's got a really heavy shadow that he feels like it's this demonic force entity that's taking control of him. It's really he's got a heavy pain body, shadow aspect, subpersonalities all come together to make an entity. And it probably attached to Phantom Matrix and well, and probably to a Nephi, and I mean there's all kinds of things that's going on, and probably the fatalities, but anyway, yeah, it still all comes down to us and how we interface with different parts of self as I am, right? So again, it's not like it's only just me, it's I am, and how the two in breath and out breath work together. Okay. And of course, I can't see what it is. It's above that. So anyway, if you want to get beyond that game, you own both parts. Page 32. Boy, I can't believe. I guess what I'm going to have to do in future, but normally it doesn't do like this. So weird. Anyway, balancing the polarities between being a victim and victimizer, right? Central body currents. We're moving back and forth between the good and the bad, and sometimes we go a little bit over to the ugly and learn lots of stuff from that. Second creation, fine art mechanics. We align back in again. Always balance the balancing act between the two. So the victim would be more probably the bad, and then the victimizer is probably when we go more into the ugly, I'm going to say. But we're dancing back and forth, and we're going into the good. We're actually really in our center and our core. Seeing the difference between the person and the behavior, that's very important as well. Kind of like parents when their children act out. You love your children. You know they're beautiful. And they're true. Everybody is organically God's first eternal Aya, meaning we essay it. And we sometimes act kind of nerdy. We gotta do stupid things. Just, we're learning, we're trying this out, learning that, back and forth. Shadow bodies going crazy, all kinds of things. All kinds of weird alignments with astrological. We sometimes just do stupid things. We don't need to be held on forever. We don't need to have unjustified or negative unjustified karma over our behaviors, but we do need to take responsibility for them and work to heal and align and clean things up. But knowing that behavior and the actual person are not the same thing. Holding a space to see yourself and the other in their highest true expression. Again, when you know that the behavior is something else and who they are is something else, and when you can really see who they are as well as yourself and see the bigger picture, it shifts the whole dynamics. And what one moment was crazy stuff, VV game running, next moment there's alignment. Holding yourself and the other person accountable, again, making amends, very huge, makes a big difference. Because part of the experience, it's an experience. We're learning and growing and expanding. And we're only going to learn and grow and expand when we're accountable. And when we do something that's really hurtful, we make amends. And we feel out with the other ones involved how that can work. It's probably different for every situation on how to make amends. There's no like canned answer on any of that, right? Or who is ultimately responsible? Yourself, right? Others have their end of it, but yours is primary on how you respond, what's going on in your template, da 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 da, right? Again, what that's about there. So the top of the line, there is a level of accountability and oneness that go hand in hand. That's page 33. Are you going to give your power over to the blame shame game? Because you can do that. You can continue playing that game, and maybe you need to gain something from doing it. I don't know, right? What is the Keylonta coded program or pattern being worked out in your DNA? You really want to tune in. What is that? You can zero in on it so you can work on it. And so, are you running up against ancestral burdens, generational issues that keep keeping you repeated? Again, that would be part of the DNA program, right? And I thought, so again, and in my opinion, the interesting thing with ancestral burdens is when you heal it from your time continuum, it will heal it backwards and forwards through time. And there's usually in every generation, there's always going to be, there's a key person that's able to really heal and work on themselves and clear things and help the whole generation. And again, backwards and forwards through time. I think that this is kind of something also to keep in mind is a lot of people get caught up in the, why did God let this happen? Oh my God. Well, first off, there's no God in heaven, male, anything doing anything to us. There is being the all that is, God source first eternal, which is made up of I am. So each of us have our own personal planetary originally code template, and they all interface together, but it still comes back into now, because it's our template, it feels like there's something outside of us, a force, a divine order, so to speak, that controls. But that is not this God in heaven. It's your own template and how your template interfaces. So the more that you're in your body, the more you take self-responsibility, the more you make amends, the more you're accountable, the more you work through your stuff, the more you start taking back your body and your template. And you're going to feel less and less and less victimized by other things. Now, again, you have the astrological stuff, but even with the astrological stuff, the more you're grounded and stable and aware, you can ride the wave of what's going on planetarily, because also the planetary programs. But I also think a lot of those planetary programs are also part of the ancestral burdens, probably. And I think you have civilization ancestral burdens, which become planetary programs that a lot of different civilizations take on. So yes, there is clearing that, but it's not God doing anything to you. Okay. God is, as Aya, if you want to change the term to Aya, is you and me, everybody together, exploring, experiencing, expanding, looking to be more than what we were the day before. Okay. That's Aya. And it follows a certain structure, right? That's what we've talked about Keylonic science, the creation of mechanics. There's a structure in place, and second creation finite mechanics has been an aspect of Aya that chose to just alter from that a bit, but it still always comes back to the structure. Always come back to the structure of the light body mechanics, right? Spirit body is something different, but in this light body outer realm that we're working in and experiencing as Aya in, there's a structure and mechanics to it. And that if you don't go by it, you have to go by it. So there is some of what God's, it's just, I'm God, you're God, we're it, capital I, capital T. Are you being, okay, and then another thing to look at in regards to dealing with the VB game and making it to be kind of a thing is, are you being the fixer? Are you always feeling as a victim, you have to fix this, you have to fix the person, you have to fix all these things outside yourself, when really you need to come back to yourself and work to just take, again, accountability, making amends, being balanced in your center and following your internal guidance system, not trying to manipulate this, that, and the other outside yourself. From that core balanced within yourself, expressing out, being one. What's the next move? The next move? What's the next move? What's the next move? Following your internal guidance system, moment to moment to moment to moment. Okay. The fall of, or how the VV game began, or something like that. Anyway, the fall of the Foreign of Salt. And that was page 36. So the Orintha at the echo level of energy, at their echo level of an adjacent Akasha A system, witnessed a partial Becca fall. They were devastated. And for that terminology, that's in Introduction to Keylontic Science, Introduction to Keylonta playlist, YouTube playlist. So you may want to go through that to understand, but basically it has to do with the stairway to heaven of our Cathar grid system of energy lines and energy centers, as with spheres within spheres within spheres. There's huge worlds within worlds within worlds that go with that. We have kind of we're in a particular, what's called an Akasha, or Pekaveka system within Akasha system, and there's actually an adjacent Akasha Aya system in Akasha. We are interfaced into within the monad of that bigger Akasha, or Ekaveka system. And speaking on that, I know that Iesha has taught that, oh, if the lower realm of a Veka system, lower realm, if the, I don't want to say it's lower as in less than, but the lower density, the more dense of a harmonic universe of a Veka system gets compromised, falls, goes into space, dust, return. There's kind of been this sort of attitude that it doesn't affect the rest per se, but, or compromise the rest. I guess she doesn't say it doesn't affect them, but compromise. I would say at some level it affects that whole person's full expression as Aya, all the way up into its core itself. There's some kind of effect, some deeper than others, but every level gets affected. Especially, I would say, if the lower density of a Becca system got compromised, it would definitely affect the Eka for sure. And it did them. They weren't compromised, like they didn't go into space dust, but they were weakened by this fall, my opinion. So they were devastated because normally there's feeling sad and, oh, that shouldn't have happened. And, but you understand the whole of things. You're still holding your integrity. You know that even though they've gone to space dust return, they're not gone. They've just, their life body structure is gone and they're going back, and we remember them as who they were, and they go back into the core of their being, and then they will eventually come back out. But they weren't there anymore. Yeah. So again, it affects the whole system. They thought they could create, and then out of this weakened state, because they kind of compromise, not fully in the fullness of being with part of themselves gone. And actually, the fall of Metatron is a good example in our system. Why we have the Elohim and the Anunnaki were from Giovanni. They were from the Giovanni matrix ecosystem, Carmelite sun fields, that was trying to come in our system to deal with this, actually, with this fall. They were trying to heal this Becca system, and parts of themselves, that collective fell. Then he sent another part in and it fell, another part fell until he couldn't send anymore. And anyway, that's a whole other story, but kind of the same sort of example. It does affect. They thought this particular Orenthala collective thought that they could be better than the natural in-breath and out-breath Keylonta mechanics. They thought they could do better. They thought that they could just not have there ever be a need for a fall. But when you make free will choices to disregard how the science works and do things that actually compromise the in-breath and out-breath of life renewal, regeneration, there needs to be an accountability, because you're going to eventually take the whole system. The system will go kaput completely without something that says, again, and it affects all the way up. So something that slows it down and stops it. So compromise, you don't want it to keep compromising all the way into the core. There needs to be something in effect to slow it down and give time for regeneration, so that that wholeness of that particular collective of soul being can regenerate and come back in. But they thought they could bypass all of that and have there never be the safety net in there of the fall, because they felt they didn't like what they were feeling and experiencing with their own system being compromised. So they thought they could do it better. And they felt competition was what caused people systems to crash or create the BB game. They felt competition was a key player. The aggressors and the victims coded in the DNA. And actually, I've really been thinking on that since the beginning of this, and since I've been looking at putting this together. And I know that I traditionally am not really one myself on getting too caught up in competition, but I would not say competition necessarily on its own merit is the problem. I think that true competition is competing with yourself in terms of being better than where you were at before, whether it's being better than your current self as a physical person, or yourself in terms of your being part of a collective group, right? As we expand out. It's always looking to be better. It's looking to be more. That part of competition is actually not bad. And it's really part of the beauty, really, of our particular of North America and the United States and the constitutional republic, is that energy of competition, of pushing oneself to be more than what they were before, pushing themselves to expand, pushing themselves to fix whatever happens to be a problem, and not give up and ask, oh, I can't do it, somebody else take care of me, kind of thing, that the socialist thing's going on. I can't do it. And that doesn't work. You have to be able to expand and grow and evolve. That's true being organic expression. That's something very beautiful. Okay. But when we get to where we're disconnected from that connection of who we are, and we start thinking there's aggressors, there's me and the world that we talked about earlier, then you get a lot of disconnection, a lot of ego gain. And so, but because they were no longer seeing clarity anymore, they were seeing the separation energy. They were feeling and experiencing it because it was part of their system that occurred. They were separated from. They were trying to do it. So they thought competition was it. And so they created a game to deal with it. And I don't think, I just realized, I don't think that I don't think she really got into the detail of that. There was a thing that was created to try to stop it, and it ended up being an absolute total failure. And they ended up crashing out of their system into our system, and we've got the crazy shit down here. And that's why that code that was put in their matrix, where they were thinking they could control a fall and not play and manage the BB game ideology, they felt that was the reason of competition. They felt was the reason systems fell. They encoded in it was encoded in their DNA. And then when they, to run that program, and then when they came through here into our system, it also got put into our system as well. And so we're dealing with that. Okay, the cost of free will. So what was set in motion with the eternal Christ code? And again, we're going back to the organic. Talked about on page 37. Where there are certain consequences to certain actions, consequences in energy and consciousness, and falls result from a buildup of abuses of the natural laws of energy of the Christ. That in-breath, out-breath, perpetual renewal. I'm talking about Christ. That accumulate in consequences of energy that create the fall conditions of karma. Karma can be positive or negative. You can create positive karma by aligning into organic, perpetually renewing Aya consciousness, or negative karma if you do run it into the second creation finite mechanics. So it isn't something terrible or bad. It's actually what allows eternal life creation to be eternal, because it tempers free will. Which no matter what, you're going to always have free will, because we're Aya. And through the free will thought intention as Aya, creation was created, and life is always perpetually renewed and created through that free will consciousness of creation. So, but there was kind of trying a mechanism to temper it a bit, but it's going to always be there. And you can either be in alignment or misalignment with it. But it is a bit of a cost that we have, because of that natural order of free will within it. That's encoded as well at a very deep level, the free will. And so free will is baked in the cake as creative expressions of Aya in conclusion. Yeah, you can't take it out. You can try to temper it, but if you try to temper it too much, yeah, as much as we would like to control or temper it, there is no way Aya can be tempered. Aya is life itself. It, capital I, capital T, finds its way to break free. And that's what we've been experiencing with second creation finite mechanics, of trying to find a way to not be tempered and to do our own thing. Problem is, what we've been doing is cutting our nose off to spite our face. So anyway, there's that going on. When the natural balance of in-breath and out-breath is interfered with, a mess will always ensue. Get back to being balanced, taking full self-responsibility. Remember who you are. As Aya, as first eternal, you knew yes, they it. And again, I do private sessions and still have the HDR seminar series. And I didn't look to see how long we probably were doing timing wise. We might be doing okay. Anyway, HDR seminar series. We provide digital products for PDFs, audios, video recordings of HDR journeys and workshops. 10% for a little while, for this time for a while, 10% discount, code HDR10, all caps. So you have choices, private session, or you can utilize some of the material here. We also have the HDR Grid Keepers membership program that has a lot of content in it. There's a particular sequence to go through as a newcomer to get yourself up to where you can line up into Urea Earth and work there, and then eventually get into being able to do the lives sessions with the main group. You're always welcome into the monthly, in the beginning, the monthly Grid Keepers discussion. Always able to take part in that and get any questions and stuff you may have answered. So yeah. And again, I have lots of content, lots of things, getting healing work, clearing, disengaging from the old matrix, aligning into the new matrix, utilizing the Katsara older like freedom teachings, but integrated with the newer, higher frequencies in a very unique way, and working with the new, with the Alhambra, the Nomia, the Sutray. Recently, it's been the Starlight Gold beings have come in. And it's been very fascinating connecting into their realm. They're where the Alhambra originally came from. So working from that matrix, which is connecting to M31 and even deeper into that. So that's been really fascinating to work with that. I also suggest and then the HDR Grid Keepers Handbook, definitely recommend that through purchasing it through Lulu. There's a number of links in a number of different places. There's one on the private session page, the Grid Keepers, and also even the HDR seminars shop page has a link for it as well. And that I have a PDF version of it and a physical paperback version of it. And that's kind of like, I always, when I get to new mobilities, I'm always like, okay, you have a book. I have a book, introductory level book, for people that want to really kind of understand a bit of the introductory level of harmonizing journey to realignment. And I also suggest to people that it's to go onto the website, harmonizingjourney.com, and just go through the about section. There's a frequently asked questions, read through the private sessions page, the Grid Keepers page, and you will get a lot of information. Also, of course, Harmonizing Journey YouTube. You can get a lot of information there. I've also got a Telegram, HDR Insights, and Harmonizing Journey Telegram channel. My Harmonizing Journey website has a blog section, so I've got many blog posts that you can read over a number of different topics that you can read through it. Lots and lots of free content to really get yourself introduced to this material and get going with it. Also, Awakening Alania book series, sci-fi fantasy. 2 books so far. Third one I'm working on still. Actually, take it a number of years to get these books done because it's me integrating, and again, this third book is kind of really working with aligning into the new earth energies, which is really kind of right in the middle of you looked up. So the book's kind of with that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And again, you go on harmonizingjourney.com, read over it, has all the information on booking and goes on with the session. Katie and my email address if you want to ask more personal questions to find out a little bit more detail. After, again, I always tell everybody, read through the website, get to know what's on the website, and then whatever questions that you still have, Katie at harmonizingjourney.com is my email address to ask me questions. Or unless you want to on any of my YouTube posts, you can ask questions as well, but it's public. So if you want private questions like that, again, Katie at harmonizingjourney.com, website harmonizingjourney.com. Thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, can't stress enough, please like this video, because that's the more people like it, the more it's available for other people, right? Get the benefit of the video. Please share to anyone you think would be of interest in this content. That's huge for getting me out there. Please subscribe to get more of this content, both from YouTube as well as, as well as you can go on to harmonizingjourney.com website and become a member of the blog, the blogs posts and be able to comment and like the blogs. But also, of course, liking and getting and hit the notification button with YouTube. You subscribe, make sure you hit the notification so that you can get notifications of each premieres, or even when I eventually also do Harmonizing Journey with Katie Yoshimanita live introductory sessions. Periodically do happen, but there's plenty of ones that I've already done. I am not monetized by YouTube, so donations are really appreciated. The donation link will be in the description, as well as the private session link, the Grid Keepers link, Vicky and Alania, the HDR Seminars shop link. All those are in the description link section under the video. All right. Oh, did I put anything in this? HDR Insights Tarot Q&A on next Tuesday, the 11th. So, and then we have the HDR Insights Tarot show on. Let's do it. Oh, okay. The Q&A is next week. Then the last Tuesday of the month, on the 25th, is the HDR Insights Tarot show energy forecast for September. And that's been really fun too. That both those HDR Insights have been pretty fun, right? Again, make sure the notification buttons click to be notified of these pre-recorded premieres. If I find that more people start watching these and are involved, we may go back to doing the lives, but there's no point in doing the lives if nobody's gonna join. I'd rather go through Zoom and do it the way I'm doing it, even though it's kind of weird right now. The share screen link thing up above where I can't see the thing. The sound quality is better, but again, it's okay with the sound being a little off doing the lives if we're all live, because that makes it much more powerful to do this. I would love to hear what you guys would like to share. Yes, I miss that. I really enjoyed the times that people participated in the lives, because you guys bring your thoughts, your ideas, your perspectives, and it just expands the conversation. So again, I really like to have your comments, your perspective, although it does need to be respectful, because, well, I would appreciate it being respectful, and also YouTube appreciates it being respectful. I've noted that I had a comment that as I was pulling it up, I could sort of read some of it, and then it just flashed off. And it must have had something in it that YouTube said, nah. Their little AI said, nah. So I apologize for that. So if it's something that you're unhappy with, but you think is something that would be helpful for me to learn from, maybe, or have some insight on, or something that might be, it's not negative, but just YouTube likes to, it makes it to YouTube sound like it's negative. Katie at harmonizingjourney.com. You can message me there. Also, the website itself, you can, I think it's, yeah, in the about section of, it's in the about section. I'm spacing on the term. I think it has, whatever that is about being able to make the contact or something. I think there's a way to do it that way, but I don't always see that right away. I've missed some. So Katie at harmonizingjourney.com is the best way to make contact with me, especially if you're interested in a private session or even a Grid Keepers group and you got specific questions you would like to have answered, by all means. Again, after you've reviewed everything, you look me over, you're getting more of a feel of what I'm at, but you're still like, what about this? I love to answer specific questions, but just tell me about you. I hate that question. Tell me about yourself. I've got plenty of, on the about section, plenty of videos about me talking about me. And again, I've got a frequently asked questions section. Go through all those. If there's something I missed, please say, hey, I looked through all that, but I didn't see this. And I can say, okay, I'll answer that. I know it's bad. I'm not a real intellectual, detailed numbers, blah, 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 analytical person. I'm more like touchy-feely, go where they seat of my pants, follow spirit kind of energy. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll hopefully connect with you guys next week. And hopefully I look forward again to you participating in this particular discussion. And again, I may comment in the comments to your comment, or I might, if it's something that's really just stands out, it's really wow, I may talk about it in the next, probably next month, probably in the next, if it's something that pertains to this discussion of this material, I will probably talk about it next mastery of Keylonta. If it's something just more general about Keylonta, or well, Keylonta in general, or HGR in general, it may be something that I might just answer in the HGR Insights Q&A, or one of the others, that whenever it is that I get the comment from you that I feel should be talked about. So thank you. Love you guys. Bye.